Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking a budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Evan Fine of the Senior Reserve Group. When you start thinking about retirement, who you can call about Medicare? Why call the best? Evan Fine of Senior Reserve Group, specializing in Medicare, health, and long-term care insurance. Evan can be reached at 1-800-650-9357. That's 1-800-650-9357. Or email to evanfine@seniorreservegroup.com. Evan is licensed in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Delaware, South Carolina, and Florida. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can also check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can also download and listen on SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and also watch the interview on YouTube as well. We're here with a very, very special gentleman from New York State. He is the owner and host of the Keith Andrew Network and also KeithAndrewNetwork.com. He's a radio host. He's interviewed many famous celebrities, many famous people, and he's also been in filmmaking, and he's also won quite a few awards as well, too. And, you can also talk about that. And most importantly, he also has a very special, I would have to say, a special gift that he was also born with, starting and making the best of it. So we'll let him talk about that. But right now, without further ado, we have, ladies and gentlemen, the host and owner and CEO of the Keith Andrew Network, the pride of New York State, Keith Andrew. Keith, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
No, it's a real honor and privilege being a guest on your show.
That is fantastic. And you've been the owner and host of the Keith Andrew Network and KeithAndrewNetwork.com for quite some time. You've interviewed many celebrities, and you also were also born as well too with a very unique talent, and also that and special as well too, which is a learning disability. So first of all, before we get into all that, tell us how you got started.
All right, I'll tell everyone about my show, my catchphrase. Before I even get to that, you mentioned I won a couple awards. I haven't actually won any awards. I don't really think it's considered winning an award if you reward yourself. but I have gave myself some trophies. That's another story for another time. But yes, I've been doing my talk show for almost 6 years. And this June, actually, will be 6 years. And the whole point of my talk show, like I say in every single message when I meet someone, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. Never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. And to prove to them to stem out to something. So hashtag break the labels.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, just tell us a little bit further about learning disabilities and how were you detected as a child and everything, and just give us specifics on it, and what are some of the symptoms and what is to be done, and also how do people progress, and also you could talk about some of the other famous celebrities or known media figures that have the same condition as well too.
No, absolutely. I did, as of right now, I did over 581 episodes. Unofficially, it's almost near 1,000. Just reminds me of my stupidity and failures, but that's a long story. I have ADD, I have ADHD, I have a little OCD, A lot of people think I'm a narcissist because I like being in control. A lot of people think I'm a control freak. I just walk and talk to the beat of my own drum, and I like being different. I like just being unique. A lot of people think that's weird, but, why you want to be a carbon copy when you can stand out and be your own person?
Mm-hmm. Well, that is amazing too, and you're really good living proof as well too, and of course you had so many things as well too, and of course you just have to say that having all this combined is just considered a rarity, and when you're growing up with learning disabilities, ADHD, OCD, and everything else, special learning disability. Did you end up going to a special school for learning disability, or are we just a regular student just like everybody else?
During summer, I went to Osterbosties, that's in Goshen, New York, and that's where people that has disabilities. And I don't know, looking back, maybe I could have been a little better, but I could have worked on my social skills and went to camp instead of going and putting myself through bed. But I've been going to Osterbosties since I was 4, and last time I was there was about 2005, and then I said I didn't want to do it anymore. I got a job. Reason I actually got the show was because I wanted to show people with disabilities I can still mouth something. And there's a lot of different variations of this story. I used my brother for an inspiration. I used my dad for an inspiration. I got tired of using my disability as a crutch. I got tired of sitting at the table with everyone and say, what am I going to do with my life? And what really it started with a birthday list. There was a lot of different variations. And the one that really struck a chord is because I'm the youngest out of 4 brothers and 1 sister. And the brother before me always said, I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know what to do this and that. And everyone's like, go talk to him, go talk to her. They know people. You have options. I said, what about me? And everyone stops and looks at me. Says, you're not educated. You're not qualified. You can't keep your mouth shut. You can't hold down a job. And you're going to be a burden. You're going to be put in a group home because you're just going to be a burden. So I said, screw it. I'm going to show you with a disability. Look at what I'm able to accomplish. Yes, I never went to college. I read and learn at a 5th grade level, but I'm going to show you I can still amount to something.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you had a little bit of trouble with your family as well too. But then when you got the Keith Andrew Network going, and another question I had, since you work so many of these jobs, what was that one moment that influenced you into starting the Keith Andrew Network? What was the precise moment?
I worked in a retail store for 3 years, and I was one of their best employees. I was supplying the months and everything, and also there was this girl that they hired, and she's like, "Oh, Keith, we know you have a disability, but we're just messing with you," because she would flirt with me, and she would say, "Oh, you can talk to me about anything. We talk about this and that." She would go in the back, "Oh, Keith is stalking me. Keith is doing this. Keith is doing that." I would get yelled at, and as soon as I go back on the sales floor, I can't snap my fingers. She would be right there. "Oh, we're just screwing with you. We're having fun with you. Don't take it so personally." And as soon as I walk away, back door would swing open. "God damn it, Keith, we just told you not to go near her. You don't talk to her." I would point at the cameras, she came to me. "Oh, we don't have audio. So how do we know you didn't tell her to come over?" So I spent pretty much, this was April of '07, and I spent every day in the bathroom having a breakdown, have a panic attack since April '07 to about October 2007, and I can't do this anymore. I'm physically making myself sick, and this job went from being fun to, well, this really sucks.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't do it, and I went over to Skechers, and I worked for the holiday, and I left after the new year. I wanted to put my 2 weeks in, but Skechers didn't know what the hell they were doing. And they said, "Oh, you've been only here for a couple of weeks. You do not have to put in your 2 weeks." Because we're rebranded. We are reorganizing. We are distributing. And we're letting people go. So we just put you on the list and we just let you go. I went, all right, whatever, I don't care. And I got disability money. And, it took me a whole year to recover. And I went to West Point. I was being a custodian. They didn't get, the excuse was they didn't get the contract, so they didn't want to hire me. And I also didn't feel comfortable taking the occupations bus. So I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. There has to be something. And during that time, when I was recovering, I always sat with my family. My brother always said, what am I going to do with my life? What am I going to do? Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And I'm like, what about me? Like I said in the beginning, you're not qualified, you're not educated, you can't keep your mouth shut, you cause trouble, you cause problems, even though it is true. And I'm just like, I'm going to show you, as someone who reads at a 5th grade level and learns at a 5th grade level, I'm going to show you I can still amount to something. I will prove to you I can still amount to something before I die. And I came off with the Keith Angie Network, and I want to do this. And I'm not saying this to be cute. I'm not saying this to be funny. I want to do my talk show until a day I'm 6 feet under. That's how passionate I feel about my work.
It sounds like you're really passionate, and we'll get to your show in just a minute. You're listening to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. We're here with Keith Andrew, the owner and host of the Keith Andrew Network and KeithAndrewNetwork.com. He's interviewed many celebrities and also has a learning disability, which he's lived to talk about. He's also a content creator, filmmaker, and many more. And before we get to your show as well, too, and, what's it about and everything, and we talked about what was the big influence that got you started. And, of course, with you, starting up your own network and radio and everything. And how did you manage to start learning about radio? And did you need to go to school or anything like that, like take online, or you just saw something and said, I'm going to put it together and do this in a unique way?
Well, it's kind of funny because when I was in high school, I was the kid who always sat alone against the wall because I'm not the same person who I am now, and I kind of wish I had someone to, actually kick me in my ass to say, you have potential. You can be better than anyone. But I didn't. I was a loner. And I always sat by myself. This guy named Thomas Earl, God rest his soul. Thomas Earl came over to me and said, why don't you come down to the audiovisual department and make something of yourself? And I didn't in my freshman year because I had my brother's friends keep me company. And I was failing. I basically failed every single class in my freshman year. I had to do it over in sophomore. So I was there until my sophomore year. It was about, trying to remember, March 2004. And he's like, I want to see your grades. And I was failing. He said, I don't want you here. You can't be here if you're failing your class. So I got up, I started to cry.